friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, tape live at the Twitch, twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. And of course, we tape these days live at the YouTube as well. So be sure to check us out pretty much every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. That's right. Wednesday nights are now become our Thursday 11 a.m.s. because we're doing AEW reviews coming up starting this week. This week it's because I'm going to a Kings game on Wednesday night. We set a new franchise record for number of threes made in a game last night.
Oh, wow.
So I hope we carry that over into our game against the Houston Rockets this coming Wednesday. We'll see if that works out for us.
That'd be great. It'd be good if you get to go to the game and see them light the beam, Steve.
Oh, man, I want to see that beam get lit, Larson. Anyways. Well, Houston's a trash team, so easy win. Light it now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, man. Just, hey, light it right now.
Don't take it for granted, man. Come on.
So anyways, on today's episode of Going In Raw, we are going to be talking about last night's Monday Night Raw. We're only a couple weeks out from the Royal Rumble. We got more entrants. We've got more stuff that happened last night. I think were more matches made last night, or just more people sort of declared, like Austin Theory declared. Seth Rollins said his knee's going to be fine.
Yeah, there's a lot of people talking about the Rumble, I guess. So, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, every week from now until then, there's going to be more people declaring. So that's going on. And then, but first, let's talk about this. Mandy Rose shooting hard on WWE. She appeared on today's edition of the Tamron Hall Show to talk about her WWE release. Rose mentioned that there was, quote, some confidentiality about her release, but noted that she was, quote, never told that she lost the NXT Women's title due to content posted on her fan time page. While Rose couldn't get into details about whether she was asked to remove content from her page, she did mention that, quote, there was one warning to take it down, and I complied. Rose did talk about what was on her site, saying, and these transcripts come to us via our friendos over at Fightful, everything that I do in the privacy of my own home, showing my fans behind-the-scenes action, whether it's photo shoots, my everyday personal life, nothing's wrong with that. That's what I was doing. You can't believe everything you see on the internet. Not everything is accurate. When I show photos of me sexy, like how I've been showing on my Instagram, which everyone can see, there is nothing wrong with that. And added, there is no full nudity. I would never post anything that would harm my brand. Rose was asked by Tamron Hall if she felt she was wronged by WWE, to which Mandy replied, because of everything that's happened since then, everything happens for a reason, and I can't even say I was wronged because I'm so forever grateful for everything that the WWE has presented me with. I can't say I was wronged or not. I'm hurt. I'm very hurt. No one wants to get that call that you're being fired from any job. I was very hurt and very disappointed. I was disappointed more because of everything I put into the business, but just the last year and a half, I was champion for 413 days. I unified the two titles. I was the third longest reigning NXT Women's Champion. I also created this must-see faction with two other women that I brought up. I got to see so many women develop their characters, and they are younger than me and at the beginning of their careers. To me, that was so important because it was so rewarding for me. Losing the title was obviously a gut punch. I was so disappointed. At the end of the day, my purpose was gone. That's where I felt lost and confused because of all the hard work. Driving home from that, a lot of things were going through my mind. You always think there are unanswered questions. At the end of the day, I love what I've done in WWE, and I love the platform they presented me with. I am forever grateful for them.
Yeah. I mean, I guess this all kind of seems I mean, she did mention a aspect of confidentiality, so I don't know. That's interesting that she was released, fired as she puts it, but then there is some sort of confidentiality aspect to the release, seemingly, the way she's putting some of this stuff. Like, she can't go into details because she can't.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. You think if she was released or fired, then that would be that, and she could talk about it as much as she wants to, but I guess not.
I don't know. Maybe there's some aspect of, sometimes you need a severance package. You're not supposed to disparage the company. Yeah. Maybe part of her, a release or whatever included some amount of money. So then she doesn't,
I mean, I guess it could be a non-compete I guess if it was a standard release from WWE's side of things, she was on a main roster deal apparently still, so that'd be a 90-day no compete. And maybe that's just part of the deal there too.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, it's a bummer. I wish that, the rules about showing off stuff weren't as hardcore as they are.
Mm-hmm.
A little fib here, though. She totally did show full nudity. I mean,
yeah.
Well, full. I guess it depends on your definition of full. My definition would be different than like maybe Jim Ross's. Just to throw out a random name. I don't know.
Got to stop that, man. I'm not in the mood for that today. You got to stop that.
I've just threw out a random name. Anyways,
not random when there's thought behind it. It's not random.
My sincerest apologies.
Yeah.
But there was, she showed more than what would typically be allowed on Instagram on her fan time page, and her relating one to the other it's just a bit disingenuous is all I'm saying. I
remember when this story broke, you're talking about how you did your research.
Hey, look, we try to do the research here at Going In Raw. I'm the one of us that's not anti-horny. So.
I'm not anti-horny.
Your voice just went to such a high register.
I know, it went up an octave.
Oh man, I just like to tease, man.
I know. Yeah. So when I read the part about no full nudity, I was like, I thought Steve said there was some of the stuff was pretty risque.
That's to put it lightly. And here's the thing. That's totally fine.
Yeah, it's totally cool.
That's, people want to shell out the money. You want to show any part of your body. If I look like that, oh boy, you'd see every inch of Steve here. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be doing this shit. But that being said, like I can understand, there are sort of norms when it comes to like big money advertisers and what they're doing. You can call it right or wrong. It is what it is. And it sucks. And maybe things will get more and more progressive as time goes on, as that relates to that. If like the vast majority of wrestlers simply want to do that kind of stuff and it gets to a point where advertisers have to acquiesce, great. Yeah. More money for everybody, right?
Exactly.
But at this point, unfortunately, that's not the case. So, but no, it's a bummer. She did, obviously she did put a lot of work into that. And I thought she was doing phenomenal work there in NXT.
Same.
And it's a bummer. I kind of miss Mandy Rose being on my TV.
Yeah, it was a bummer how it all went down. I'm not surprised that she's gutted and disappointed by how everything went. She put in a lot of work. She was champ for more than a year. And to have everything kind of like just seemingly so quickly poof gone, that's got to be incredibly disappointing. So
yeah, no, absolutely. And if this part wasn't a fib, if this part was true, that she was asked to take some stuff down and she complied, and that was her only warning, I don't know. Maybe there is something to be said there about, hey, there should have been more communication.
Yeah.
It's just she has a lot of content. And by the way, somebody here says, the Furious Nugget says, as a content creator, I hope Steve paid. I did. To do our research, I paid, used a bunch of the company funds. Hopefully you didn't look at the statement. I'm joking. I used.
If it was for work research purposes, and yes, that's an expense.
I paid 40 of my own dollars just to get into the fan time page and be like, okay, so what's going on here? It's like, hey, so from what I understand, there seems to be all sorts of reports out there that she is making $1.01 off that ever since. So this has been.
I think Fan Time themselves said she made $1 million.
I think that might be. I know her agent said something.
Yeah,
but do you remember if Fan Time?
Yeah, he said. Something? I thought I saw something that said Fan Time promoted that she had made a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fazzy Wazzy here, a member in our YouTube chat, says, curious, how do you think this would have went down if it was one of the bigger stars of the women's division? I'll be honest with you, man. She was the top star, top female star on a cable television WWE brand.
Yep.
I think that it would have gone down the same way. I really do. If it's Becky or Charlotte or whoever else, I think it would have gone down the same way. I really do.
I can confirm that Fan Time themselves promoted Mandy making $1 million.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go then.
So,
So yeah, I don't know, man. It's a bummer of a situation, and it's a bummer that, you know, people can't make the money the way they want to make it if it's not hurting anybody, if it's all consensual, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe one day that'll change. But unfortunately, at this point, you know, the guy who posed in Playgirl 25 years ago with nothing but the WWE title covering his dick and balls.
His front area, yeah.
His front area, you know, had to put his foot down and say he can't do that in 2022 or whatever. So, it is what it is. Let's talk about WWE Raw last night. So probably the most interesting thing, because it might portend a situation, you know, how a situation is going to be handled here in the near future. The splitting of unified titles in WWE.
Yes.
Of course, Roman has his unified title.
Yeah.
Might be splitting the tag titles now, Larson.
Yeah, so during last night's show, the Bloodline, Usos, Solo, made appearance, pissed off Adam Pearce. And so he made a tag team turmoil match being a main event of Raw. The winner of that bout would get a shot at the Usos' Raw tag team titles. So I mean, it was more or less put, hey, this is punishment for you showing up every week and messing with my show here. You know, that was, I don't know if that was necessarily explicitly stated, but that was definitely the subtext of what Pearce was going after here. And yeah, is this a precursor to what they're going to do with Roman's titles? I don't know what Judgment Day's chances are of claiming the Raw titles next week. I think it's next week, whenever the match is happening. But if this is how they're going to approach it, and that's the way to do it, I suppose.
Given that there's a lot of pieces at play right now, as it pertains to the Bloodline storyline, and given how hot Judgment Day is, and I mean, dude, they won the gauntlet last night.
Mm-hmm. They ran it from.
I'm sorry. They ran the gauntlet last night. They went from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
And what was a lot of fun, and that was like an hour-long deal.
It was, yeah.
It was awesome. And given how over Judgment Day is, you know, I understand. Look, Sheamus and Drew, super over as well. They fought for the tag titles. They lost. It's the Usos. I would not bet against the Bloodline until I see them lose.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, with Kevin Owens versus Roman coming up at the Rumble, it's entirely possible that whoever wins the Rumble will then get an option. Which one do you want to fight for at WrestleMania? And maybe they split them at Mania. Maybe it is Cody gets him one night or Seth gets him one night. It's going to be Cody. And The Rock gets him for the Universal title the next night.
Yeah.
But seemingly they have so easily, with just sort of one phrase, because I think it was Adam Pearce and I think Kevin Patrick reiterated it. It's the Raw tag team titles that this is going to be number one contendership for.
Yep.
With not a lot of bombast there, you know, it wasn't a big deal. They just said, hey, they could easily say, hey, Roman, you know, whoever wins the Rumble, they're going to get their choice of championship. And that's how we're going to proceed. I mean, it could be as simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be. It could be.
And given that Roman Reigns has been the story for so long now, it wouldn't shock me if they went all in as sort of a last hurrah for Roman Reigns at WrestleMania this year, where he does main event at both nights. That wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't shock me either. Deal. He is a huge deal. Yeah, I mean, the only other thing I can think of is this is something we had mentioned before, where essentially Adam Pearce goes to Roman and say, yeah, you may not be you're not showing up on Raw, first of all, representing our brand as champion. Secondly, whether you are telling the Bloodline to show up here on Raw or not, they're showing up. These are your guys.
Yeah.
If you're not going to, you know, tell them to stop showing up, then you're going to be punished. We're going to strip you of the WWE title. That's the other option. And then either they can have a match tournament or do the Rumble for that belt.
You could do that as well. Yeah. Yeah. That's a possibility. Yeah. So there's a number of ways they can go, but with the matter of fact way they did it last night, I feel like Roman's unified title is a bit bigger of a deal than, but yeah, if you you know, you make the Rumble for it, or if you make the Rumble, you know, winner get their option, you know, it's a bummer. It's like whoever wins the Rumble, it's like, well, I want to go for both of them, like everybody else has been doing. Like Kevin Owens literally went for both of them today at the Rumble. Why do I have to choose? But you know, especially if it's Cody, who's made such a deal about talking about the WWE title, he wants the legacy, the lineage title.
Yeah. Well, I guess actually too, if it's something that's set up prior to the Rumble, then Roman would be stripped of it prior to Rumble because they want to have it there for Rumble match.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So Kevin Owens technically only be challenging for the Universal title.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good point. That's at the Rumble if they do that thing for the yeah. That's a good point. So beyond that, a couple other things happened. Uncle Howdy appeared. I kind of like this. I sort of thought this was a cool idea. I talked about this before. The idea of Uncle Howdy sort of be there. You go. Hands on lapels, doing the thing. He also does this a little bit now too. He does with a hand. Ooh.
Yeah.
So Bo Dallas and the Uncle Howdy makeup, not Brock Lesnar as Wrestling News Now reported, but Dallas and the Uncle Howdy makeup showed up to address Alexa Bliss, who claims she's in control, but Uncle Howdy saying, "You sure about that?" I think it's Uncle Howdy. I think it's me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, they have to get some of the timings of the production aspect of this stuff right, because he's doing the lapel thing. Looks like he's supposed to be laughing, but I hear no laughter.
He lingers.
Yeah, that's kind of a problem. Is far too often they have these moments that are supposed to be suspenseful, but rather than having it impactful out for the suspenseful moment, they just kind of hold the shot too long, and so it kind of it deprives it of some of the suspense that they probably intended to have.
They need to use a little bit better timing. There needs to be like a moment and then you cut to commercial.
Exactly.
Or something like that. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I thought that all they really needed was the little Tron video of Uncle Howdy addressing Alexa Bliss. I thought that would have been enough. I don't think you need to show the goofy dude, in the outfit coming out.
Yeah.
Doing this stuff here with the hand and then the thing. It's a bit on the goofy side, but as a story beat, I appreciate it. I like the concept of Uncle Howdy crossing brands.
That's probably why they had him show up. It's like, oh, this Uncle Howdy just isn't strictly a SmackDown, strictly Brave thing.
He's not just a SmackDown superstar.
He's above brands.
Yeah.
You got the Bloodline, you got Uncle Howdy, and you got Kevin Owens.
Right, exactly. Oh man. So yeah, Uncle Howdy showed up. We also had MVP directly appeal to Bobby Lashley. Hey man, let's get the business back together. Let's get the band back together and reform the Hurt Business. What are you saying? Lashley's like, well, consider it a positive that I haven't throttled you on site. But as far as now, no. So I assume the Hurt Business is going to help Lashley in some way, shape, or form.
You'd think so.
To say, hey, we're come on, let's do it. We all want to see it. Everybody wants to see it.
I know. I kind of wish that Shelton and Cedric had a better run in that tag team turmoil match.
Yeah, me too.
To have them be in there and then just lose without winning one prior.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bummer, especially just after MVP says, I understand his thesis is we're at our best together, and they're not all together yet, but still, you got to make the case that at least the two of them together can be successful to a degree.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. You want the Hurt Business to be like a big deal, not just, oh man, we got this tag team of jobbers here. Also notable, Amos was not seen with MVP, so who knows how he factors into things. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then we got an update on Seth Rollins. He showed up. He had crutches, and then he got rid of the crutches, but said, my knee's not 1,000% good, but by the Rumble, it should be.
Yeah. I mean, he came out on crutches and then started playing air guitar on one of them, so I think, he's fine. I mean, there was some concern last week based on how he was selling his knee about whether he was hurt or not. Apparently, he's fine. He's fine.
Yeah.
Which is good.
No, that's awesome. That's good. That's good for him. A lot of people here in chat are talking about the Jay White news. Before we get started on the Raw recap, we'll talk about that here in a second, just to go over like the basics, because it just came out on Fightful. So we're going to talk about that here in a second. But Larson, what do you say? First, before we do that, let's pay a couple bills.
Let's do it. Let's take a quick break here and get a word from our sponsor, DraftKings. Steve. Week 18 of the NFL season is in the books, which means the NFL playoff picture is locked in. And I got to tell you, I'm really interested in these first-round NFC matchups because I want to know who's going to face my Eagles in round 2. And my go-to destination for wild card round action is DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL.
That's right. And to kick off the road to the Super Bowl 57, new customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. Plus, all new and existing customers can get a no-sweat bet each day of the wild card round this weekend.
So you're probably wondering, what is a no-sweat bet? Well, here's what you got to do. Place an NFL bet of your choice, and if it loses, you'll get a free bet back up to $10. This action's so good, why bet the NFL playoffs anywhere else?
If you want to get in on the action, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code RAW. New customers can bet $5 on the NFL and get $200 in free bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code RAW. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. So, it was reported earlier today by Fightful Select. Go check them out because they're great, man. Always breaking those. Always with the scoops, them Fightful Select. Sean Ross.
Go subscribe to Fightful Select.
So we'll go over the basics. Maybe we'll go into this more detail tomorrow on tomorrow's episode. We like to give Fightful Select a little window of exclusivity. Man, they do good work over there.
They do awesome work, yes.
But so many people are talking about this. Might as well throw this in here. Jay White, apparently his contract is up very, very shortly. And AEW and WWE have been courting him heavily.
Yes.
But WWE sources are saying that they think they've got Jay White in the bag. Locked up, Larson. Jay White to WWE. Is that something you want to see?
I don't know. I mean, the title of this report is Jay White expected to leave New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
There's so much about his character in New Japan that works so well for how they approach creative, and man, his relation. I say this all the time. I know I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I think it's important. His relationship with the crowd in New Japan is something else, and that's something that's tough to, I think, to reconstruct in WWE. So, I don't know. There's so much about what he does that's so great for what New Japan does. And it's a situation where Jay White is an immensely talented dude. I'm sure he'll be successful wherever he goes, but you see what we see what he does in New Japan, and I don't know if how WWE approaches their creative can really tap into what we've seen him do. I'm not saying you have to do the same exact thing, but what he's been doing is so good, anything less than that's going to feel like a step down. I don't know if WWE, how they approach stuff, can really tap into that kind of energy.
So we talked about this a little bit on the pre-show, so I'm going to reiterate it as well. You're absolutely right about his relationship with the crowd. It's special. It's unique. How he's adapted as the Switchblade character, how he's evolved as a Switchblade character in New Japan has been such a joy to watch. And his history there, adapting that character and evolving that character is so important to who he is in New Japan specifically. The relationships he's built as a character with other characters in that promotion. We just saw this after the end of when he lost the title to Okada, how Okada was having the title put on him, and Jay White claws his way, climbs Okada, and basically says, even with his body language, you will always be linked. I will always be here. I'll always be chasing you. And don't forget that. That's what I got from that Wrestle Kingdom moment. And he's still really young. He'll be back in New Japan one day, you would think. But to have to go to WWE, I think about when we saw him in AEW, it wasn't the same. And I sure as shit don't want him to go to AEW. Impact Wrestling, obviously, is Impact Wrestling, not a big deal.
Yeah.
But he was a face there, and it just wasn't the same because so much of what Jay White is built in New Japan. It's not like AJ Styles, who sort of did everything, and then he came to WWE, and it was like, wow, that's a big deal. So much of New Japan's DNA right now has Jay White in it. And it's a very special thing that they have with him. WWE would be my choice above AEW. But I part of me thinks, okay, well, let's see how this would work. If he goes because he's going to be happier there, making a lot of money and being closer to, to where he wants his living circumstances to be, or whatever the situation would be.
I mean, he lives in the States, so
that's what I read in chat. Yeah. Earlier. that's good. You know, take your career to that next level if that's where you think it's going to be. I just really hope that we talked about this in the pre-show a little bit, that the danger that he brings to New Japan, that edge from his character, you know, the post-show press conferences when if he's lost something. I'll never forget the one where him and Gato, because I watched it so many times. I think it was Tama Tonga had beat him, and Jay White was in disbelief.
Yeah.
He said, Gato, Tama won? And Gato said, man, I hate to say this. Yeah, he won. And it's such a great relationship they have.
Yeah.
That him just in a vacuum in WWE, I hope they really try to make his arrival there something special.
Yes.
Something main roster number one.
Yeah.
Main roster, probably on Raw, something super special.
Yeah. I mean, he could be an interesting character to bring on to SmackDown after this Bloodline story kind of plays itself out, where, you know, the threat of Bloodline dominance isn't there. Mm-hmm. There's a power vacuum in SmackDown.
Yeah.
You know, he steps on in and tries to accumulate that power in some respect.
Yeah. Yeah.
That could be fun.
Look, there are any number of dream matches, especially if they allow him to wrestle more of a New Japan style in WWE, even if a little bit, you know, he's able to carry a little bit of that over. But there's any number of dream matches there in WWE, and I'd love to see him, especially he's like hitting his prime, basically.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Number one, whatever makes the dude happy, I'm happy for him.
Totally.
He absolutely deserves it. He's done stellar work. It's just as a fan, he's like a reason to watch New Japan, which we don't do often. But yeah, I don't know. You know, WWE is something we cover obviously pretty extensively here and going in Raw. So I guess the bright side would be, hey, more Jay White for us, the better.
More Jay White. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe if they can find a way to come some iteration of his character that harkens back to the Switchblade while not necessarily being a carbon copy of it.
Yeah, right.
And find the story to tell where that character grows into whatever its eventual form is. Mm-hmm. You know, the kind of, to a degree, recreate what they did in New Japan, where he went on excursion, came back, was offered a spot in Bullet Club, turned it down, joined Chaos, turned in Okada to join Bullet Club. You know, the level of growth and storytelling they did with him in like his first year there was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if they could find a story to kind of give us or give the WWE audience kind of like a Cliff Notes version of that. Mm-hmm. So it's not just he shows up as Switchblade. We see the growth. We see the progression of him into whatever his final character is going to be over the course of a few months, you know?
You know, it'd be kind of cool, man. It'd be kind of cool if they, because I get what you're saying. Look, I'm all for character growth. He's done so much in Japan. I think it's fine to sort of bring him over as the same guy that he is there. If he were to start a faction like immediately, you know, if he were to kind of like how, you know, he came in, he joined Chaos, but then he just sort of took over Bullet Club. If he did something similar, there's some guys out there that sort of aren't being used that much that would be perfect, like Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah.
If he started an alliance with Shinsuke and a couple of guys who just are super cool, but like haven't really done a whole lot lately, I think you could have something there, because then it immediately establishes him as a leader amongst other big names, and that sort of makes him a big deal.
I know Bronson Reed says that he's essentially a mercenary as it relates to Miz.
That'd be awesome. That's great.
With Jay White.
Yeah, no, that's great. Him, Shinsuke, and like, I don't know, somebody else or something.
It should be a faction of everybody who's beaten Okada.
Hey, that's a great idea right there. I like that. That's a good idea.
I assume Shinsuke has
he had to
beaten
have at
Okada.
some point, right? He had to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Bronson Reed has.
Yeah, Bronson Reed has. That's good. So, anyways, there's our Jay White stuff. If there's more news on that, we'll talk about that tomorrow on on our show. So Kevin Owens started Raw, kicked off Raw with a promo. He says, in just 3 weeks at the Royal Rumble for the undisputed title, and then JBL's music just cuts him off. So JBL comes out. Man, he runs down, because they were like Birmingham, Alabama. Is that where they were? Yeah, they were in Alabama. So he runs down Alabama. And then he says, this is one aspect of JBL that kind of makes me laugh a little bit, is that he's in Alabama, which is pretty firmly a red state, right? And he says, put your woke, chubby hands together for the modern-day wrestling god, Baron Corbin. If there's any state in the nation that would be sort of the anti-woke state, it's sort of Alabama. So I kind of appreciate that JBL is like, his character is so like, you know, this, oh, you snowflakes, this and that.
Yeah.
He's not even stopping to think about, like, you know,
where he is.
Where he is.
I did find it funny that he was talking about the crowd. It says, while they believe in Bigfoot, the UFO.
I like that as well. Yeah, the UFO in general.
The UFO.
The concept of UFO.
Yes. And the chupacabra.
Yeah. And the chupacabra, yeah.
Yeah, but and then, you know, he said, let me introduce you to the one person in the last 3 years who actually has beaten Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Yeah,
Baron's
I like that they actually
reference
that. Under Vince, he would have tried to erase that from history.
Yeah, that would have never happened.
Yeah. So then Corbin comes out, and you sort of understand again why. God, talk about a guy who just is never used properly. So Corbin comes out, and he just talks about, hey, if he's in the Royal Rumble match, he's going to win it. He's going to go become the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. And meanwhile, notably, probably more interestingly, Kevin Owens just rests his head on the turnbuckle and takes a nap during this promo.
Oh, so good.
It was pretty damn funny. It was the only appropriate response. So anyways, when they're done, they're like, hey, what's your deal? Are you in a food coma? Show some respect. And Owens says, look, I was actually on a JBL and Corbin have been talking for 3 minutes and saying nothing coma. He says, I missed most of what you said, but judging by all their faces, it wasn't good. He says, I have an idea. I'm dressed for a fight because I think the bloodline might come out, but the two of you will work just fine. What's it going to be? Come on, get in here. I'll hit you with the stunner, or we ring the bell. We have a match, and I hit you with the stunner. Same outcome. JBL says, you have the audacity to challenge Corbin. You want to fight this fighting machine? And Owen says, yeah, I want a match right here, right now. And then Corbin gets a match, gets in the ring. We have a match. Kind of figure out how this ends, though.
Yeah, stunner.
Stunner.
Yeah. Apart from the tag team turmoil match, well, I guess not. I was gonna say most of the matches felt a little shorter than normal, but that might not be the case. But yeah, Kevin Owens gets the win here with the stunner. Afterwards, Jey Uso attacks Kevin Owens ringside. Jimmy joins in. Owens tries to fight them off. Solo joins in. They're all beating up around the announce table. They get a chair, and they're going to do the thing where I think Solo, or they put the chair over Kevin Owens' head. Solo hits the hip attack. Instead, Owens fights back, ends up throwing a shoe in the timekeeper area. There's the shoe back there.
It's great. No, there was actually a video on social media that WWE posted of Kevin Owens after he had gotten thrown over the barricade. And in fact, he just took the shoe off Mike Rome.
Oh, he did? All right.
Yeah, he took it off him and he came back. And that's why Kevin Patrick said, oh, it looks like he took Kevin Rome's shoe.
Yeah. No, I got that, but I don't know if it was just like sitting there or what. And so he throws a chair at him. Bloodline take their leave. Kevin Owens sits in the ring. Adam Pearce comes out with some refs and has just given Bloodline the business. Again? Get out of here. We're doing this again, huh?
Yeah.
And then we go to commercial. We come back. Bloodline are backstage trying to leave. Pearce is like, where are you guys going? And they're saying, we're getting out of here. And then Pearce says, nope, no, you're not. There's a tag team turmoil match. Oh, sorry, he says, yes, Usos, you can go. There's a tag team turmoil match tonight. And whoever wins will be number one contenders for your Raw tag titles. And it's the match is between anybody who was victimized by the Usos.
Yeah, man.
So they're like, all right, Solo, let's go. And Pearce says, no. So you guys can leave. Solo's staying here because it's a match tonight against Dolph. And Jay says, well, if Solo's not going, we're not going. And Pearce says, oh, yes, you are. And he has security escort him out.
And they're like, hey, Kevin Owens didn't leave. He says, yeah, I did. I told him to leave, and he left. So after that, we had a commentary talking about Bianca Belair, and Bliss was fine because of the attack from, I think it was last week. Was it last week or 2 weeks? That was last week.
It was last week, yeah.
So anyways, Bliss shows up. She gets up. She stands up on the announce table. She drops a promo. She says, Bianca may be the champ, but I'm the only one here. Bianca went to run and hide when I smashed her face in. She says, she doesn't need to be afraid of Bray Wyatt or Captain Howdy. She says, she needs to be afraid of me. She says, because I'm the face of evil. She says, I don't feel bad for what I did because honestly, I haven't felt this good in a really long time. I've finally taken control and I'm the one in charge. So I have the whole world in my hands, and I'm not afraid to use these hands to put more scars on Bianca and take her title. And then the Wyatt logo flashes, goes, and it's got there's like a shot of like an empty playground as you hear Uncle Howdy laugh. And then it shows like a bunch of clips of Alexa in various, their Lily stuff, and then like that WrestleMania get up that she had on that was really cool. So it's a bunch of like creepy Alexa Bliss stuff, and Uncle Howdy on the Tron's like, "Are you in charge? Do you feel you're in charge? Do you feel you're in charge?" And then Uncle Howdy's music hits, and then he shows up and he's doing hands on lapels, and then this one's doing this weird stuff, and and then Alexa doesn't look very happy about this. She's like, no. Get out of here, Uncle Howdy. Nobody asked for you, Uncle Howdy.
Yeah. Then we had Bayley versus Michin. Before the match begins, Bayley grabs the mic, says, "Hold on, ding dong, hello." Before we start, I have a message for Becky Lynch. First of all, I don't know if she's jealous of us because Becky has no friends. But Becky, you're either not here tonight because you can't stand what we have or because you can't stand that you lost to me. Honestly, I couldn't care less because tonight is Io and Dakota's night. Girls, I'm giving you the night off. Go to the back. Go relax. Tonight is for you. And Becky, watch what I do to your so-called friend.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we get that match, and Bayley cheats to win. No help from Damage Control. They did actually leave. But Bayley had her feet on the ropes to get the win with a backslide.
Yep.
And, and then afterwards, commentary had noted that in advance of this Candice LeRae interview, Gargano has a grade 2 AC sprain. He noted on Twitter that he busted his shoulder during a house show, I want to say December 21st.
All right.
I think that's what he said in Canada. I think he also, he sort of mentioned that he might be ready for the Rumble. So hopefully we'll see his return in a couple weeks at the Rumble, because I've missed John. So Candice LeRae, John's wife, had an interview here. Also an amazing wrestler of note.
Yes.
So Kathy asks her about Gargano. She's like, he's bummed he can't participate in tag team turmoil. But the doctor says rest, get back to 100%. And then she talks about wanting to win the Rumble. And then Rhea walks in and says, "Oi, you're delusional for thinking you could win the Rumble. The only chance you have is your little pixie wings plucked and being ripped apart." Candice says, "Why wait? Why don't we do it tonight?" She says, "It'll be a great homecoming gift for Dominik. Watching mommy squash you like a bug," is what Rhea says.
Yeah. After that, we had an Austin Theory promo. He comes to the ring, says, "The champ is here."
Dude, okay, hold on a second.
What? I've seen this wrestling Logan Paul at WrestleMania. It's already happened.
Wait, what? This is not, hasn't been confirmed. The fact that he's still doing this?
Yeah, I know.
That's got to mean that he's fighting Cena.
You'd think so.
It's already confirmed. I was like, God, don't play with my mind like that, man. Memories just dog shit these days.
So anyways, he continues, "All of you now have to accept the truth, and that truth is the now is forever.
Forever.
Where's your guy? Where's Seth? I thought he was going to outshine me, outclass me, beat me." And the crowd starts wanting him, and they start chanting, "We want Rollins." Theory says, "Too bad." Seth limped away because his old knee couldn't hold up with good old me. You know what happened last week. Seth Rollins was outclassed, was outshined, and was taken to school by the U.S. champ, Austin freaking Theory. Seth's music hits. He walks out on crutches, stops, throws one aside, grabs the other one, plays air guitar on it, carries it down to the ring, grabs a mic, stands across from Theory, and Theory says they might be singing that stupid song, and that might be real, but you know it isn't real. You act like your knee hurts because, let's face it, you come out here and act like you're 100%, but you're not. As much as they want to sing, they know I beat you last week. You were the one who said he was the mountaintop, that then I am the pinnacle of this entire industry now. You are one of the best, you truly are, but me, I've surpassed your ass. I'm on to better things like winning the 2023 Rumble, but wait, there's more. After I win, Austin Theory is going to headline WrestleMania, walk out not only U.S. champ, but undisputed champ.
And then Seth, after all that rambling, says, "Are you done?" He says, "The truth is my knee's not 100%, but it will be just in time for me to win the Royal Rumble." He says it'll be 100% in plenty of time for Seth freaking Rollins to main event WrestleMania. He says, truth be told, I just came out here to hear you fine folks of Birmingham sing my song. And then they do that. And then he says, see you at the Rumble, kid. I got a Superman leg right here.
Oh, whoa.
Superman lost his
Man
leg.
of Steel, not so much, huh?
Not so much, no, man.
My goodness. So, yeah, so Seth leaves. Lashley's music hits. He comes to the ring. Theory's like, no, don't come in here. This is my ring. He takes a swing with the crutch, misses. Lashley spears him. Lashley throws Theory over the top, grabs the mic, says, doesn't matter who is in the Royal Rumble. I'm back.
I'm back, baby.
My suspension is over, and I can't wait to manhandle every superstar in the Rumble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Good to see Bobby Lashley back.
Yeah.
After that, we had Rhea Ripley versus Candice LeRae. Good
this
match.
Was great.
Yeah, great stuff here. Love this stuff. Both great wrestlers. In the end, though, you know what happens. Riptide gets the win for Rhea Ripley. Probably one of the most over wrestlers right now in WWE. They've done such a phenomenal job with her.
They really have.
She has to be. She's got to be the winner of the Rumble this year, right?
Yeah, I think she's got to be the odds-on favorite. I mean, I feel like they're just giving her more opportunity to just be herself.
You know, I'm legitimately curious about the creative process for Rhea Ripley, because you would think that like in NXT that's what they were doing, but even in NXT she wasn't at this level. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And maybe it was because in NXT they would always sort of waffle between, is she good guy, is she bad guy, what is she?
Did that a lot.
But here it's like you tell her, hey, just be a bad guy and do what you want to do. Maybe that's the key, you know? Because, like, obviously when she came to main roster, have her, like, shoving scripts in her face and truly not knowing what her character was, that wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of curious, like, just what it took to unlock, you know, Rhea Ripley to this potential. And I wonder if it's just simply, hey, you're going to be a bad guy. You're basically a pack of cartoonishly villainous bad guys, you know.
I mean, if it's as simple as, hey, this is your character in one or two sentences, and that resonates with her, and she says, okay, I know what of myself I can put into this character, so it comes off as real and genuine. Yeah, that could be. We got a super chat here from Lars Anti-Hornson. Interesting name. $5 says, year of Rhea Ripley. I agree with that, Lars Anti-Hornson. Thank you for that super chat.
Oh my.
After that, we had a Bobby Lashley interview, so Byron walks into the locker room, asks Lashley about the Rumble. MVP walks in and says, hey, Byron, please excuse us. We got some business to discuss. So he extends his hand to Lashley. Lashley doesn't shake it.
Nope.
And MVP says, well, you know, what about some thanks for getting you reinstated on Raw? And he asks Lashley, are we good? And Lashley says, I haven't punched you in the face yet. MVP says, well, that's the start. I'm trying to mend fences here. Mistakes were made. Do you know how well this thing works when we're all on the same page? I'm trying to get us back to doing what we do best. I was able to convince Pierce that Monday nights needed Bobby Lashley. I was even able to get Shelton and Cedric to realize the mistakes they made, and tonight they get an opportunity to put some hurt in the bloodline if they win this turmoil match. And so Lashley interrupts and says, I'm not going to forget what went down between us, but for now we're good, but not right now. And gives MVP a fist bump. And MVP says, hey, you can handle your business any way you see fit, but if you want to expand your business, my number's the same.
Mm-hmm. Because he still has that 818 area code number, apparently. Anyways, after that, we had a Cody Rhodes video package. He says, oh, yeah. Was this the same one or was it a different one?
No, this is different because this one had like surgery footage when he's getting his pectoral repaired.
That's right. Yeah.
It was focusing primarily on the Hell in the Cell match. He talked about the spot where he hit the Cody cutter.
Mm-hmm,
and on impact, he almost puked. Because like the little bit of his pectoral that was still connected to his collarbone was cramping up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awful. He said
you gotta puke.
He said he couldn't watch the match back. He says, I'm proud of it. I can't watch it though. But that match shows what I'm willing to sacrifice.
Randy's like, hey, you want to watch this match?
I know. Yeah, I'll do it. Give me a bucket first so I can puke in it.
So is Cody watching this episode of Raw, and then this video package comes on? He's like, anyways. After that,
it concludes as like, hey, can I be as good? Can I put the work in to get back to the same level I was? So.
Yeah. Adrenaline in my
his
soul. Cody Rhodes winning Royal Rumble. After that, we had a Dolph Ziggler interview. It didn't really work, I know.
You got to add an extra syllable to Rumble. Rumble.
Still didn't work.
Anyways.
It's better. Collaboration. There you go. This was funny because she's asking about Dolph Ziggler. And he's like, yeah, I want to fight Solo Sikoa. And then Ali's like, hey, man, you ruined my shot with Seth Rollins a couple weeks ago. And then we're supposed to tag team tonight so we can get back at the bloodline. And then Pierce told me that you said you don't want to tag team with me. What's up with that?
Yeah.
And Dolph was like, listen, kid, like this is all about me. It's not about you. It's all about me getting my revenge.
Yeah.
I'm a grizzled old veteran who literally hasn't aged in 15 years because I look the exact same.
He does look the
exact same. You got to give it up to Dolph. That's one thing about Dolph Ziggler, though, is that like I feel like he's been in stasis as a character and physically. There hasn't been a whole lot of changes to his character.
No, there hasn't. Do you think that he, like when he goes home and goes to bed, he doesn't have a traditional bed? He has one of those,
Tom Brady
like,
things.
Well, not even that. You know, like when in movies, where they want to kind of do it realistically, where they travel to the deep recesses of space and then they're in like suspended animation for a spell. Yeah.
So he has some
so
sort
literally
of sci-fi
when
gizmo.
When Dolph goes to bed, he gets in some sort of suspended animation chamber, and for those 8 hours, he doesn't age.
He actually doesn't age, yeah.
And that adds up over time, of course, you know.
Yeah. That adds up over time. Maybe
that's 56 hours a week he doesn't age.
Maybe actually, is it possible that when he leaves, Monday Night Raw, he just takes a spaceship to outer space because you age slower there?
That's true. Oh heck, maybe he resides in outer space.
That's what I'm thinking. Or maybe he gets in a spaceship and then he goes light speed around like the solar system and then he comes back. It's a week later for us, but for him it's been 10 minutes. Whoa!
It's wild.
Yeah.
Wild. We cracked it. Now we know why he doesn't age.
It is kind of crazy. He really looks the same.
Yeah, he really does.
The only difference is, of course, he used to have the Sid hair. And now he just uses a straightener for that. Anyways, after that, we got a Bronson Reed video package. Oi! So then we got a Bronson Reed interview. Byron's backstage with Bronson. He's like, hey, why'd you help the Miz? And Miz walks up and he's like, oh, I got this, Byron. He saw I was outnumbered and he's a highly ethical man, not just a bruiser. And if you mess with me, you mess with us. And I want to expend a VIP invite for Miz TV to Bronson. And he's like, there's no us. If you want something, you pay me.
Yeah.
And then Miz is like, nah, we're great.
Yeah. Then we got Solo Sikoa taking on Dolph. This was a pretty fun match. That finish was pretty cool.
This was really cool. This is a good match.
So down towards the finish, Dolph hits punches on Solo, hits a zigzag out of a Samoan drop and gets 2 with that. Dolph hits a headbutt, looking for a super kick, but Solo catches it. He's looking for a hip attack. Dolph evades that, looking for a famouser, but Solo catches it in like a powerbomb position. And then he kind of pushes him up and essentially hits a pop-up Samoan spike to get the win. It was pretty neat.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. After the match, the Usos come back, celebrate with Solo, so they did not leave.
They didn't leave.
They didn't heed
They're still there.
Yeah, man. All these guys just bucking the authority, dude.
They're going to get like super punished now.
They're going to get an even more stern talking to.
The sun's coming out.
Yeah, I can tell. You look like you're blowing up over there, man.
Look like I'm traveling into space now.
Uh-oh. That'd be terrifying. I don't think I'd be able to do that, man.
Really? You like
travel in space? I like the concept of space.
Not the reality, though.
Assuming it's real, yeah. I like the idea of space.
Assuming it's real.
Then we had a recap on the whole Dom and Mysterio stuff. He's backstage. He's got a bandana around his face. He's got the flannel just buttoned at the top, and he's walking around with Judgment Day. We're going to get more of that here in a second. First, we have a Bayley interview. Kathy asked if her win was a statement win. He's like, I think I sent a message to Becky when I beat her, just like I sent a message to Mi Chin when I beat her and everybody that we are the most dominant force in the entire division. Mi Chin walks up and says, you're a fraud and a cheat. And Bayley says, you know what? I'm proud of you for standing up to me and defending Becky's honor. But the difference between me and Becky is that you and Becky is that you don't mind accepting help. She says, including help kicking your ass. And then Damage Control triple teams Mi Chin. And Bayley says, don't step up for someone who won't be here for you. Becky Lynch is an idiot, and so are you. Then we get Miz TV. And Dominik Mysterio is the guest.
Yes.
And so he shows up, and the funniest part, so he's got Judgment Day with him, and he's got the whole thing. He's got like the sunglasses, he's got the purple bandana around the face, he's got the flannel, he's got Judgment Day shirt underneath, and he's wearing his fighting tights.
Yeah.
The great thing about this is, if you notice, Dom has always had a problem understanding what to do with his hands. He's like Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
And so as he's walking out there, he keeps on opening up his shirt, trying to look for pockets or something. I don't know what he's doing. And I think it's to sort of show off his merch shirt, maybe. I don't know. But he keeps on trying to do something with his hands where pockets should be, where his tights are.
That might be it.
Do you think he was trying to like put his, like what? Do you think, show off his merch shirt or put hands in pockets that aren't there?
I think the latter. I mean, yeah, I would think probably the latter.
But he knows he doesn't have pockets in his pants.
Well, I mean, you could know that, but sometimes if you're out in a situation that's different, maybe he's a little nervous.
And he can't see anything.
Yeah.
He's got sunglasses on and the bandana. It's like it's like a bandana that's like just freshly bought.
Yeah,
so
stiff.
It's so stiff. You gotta wash those a bunch of times.
You do. So, Miz introduces Dom. He comes to the ring with Judgment Day, and Miz thanks him for being there and says, sorry there aren't more chairs. Didn't know everybody was coming, but the more the merrier. And Dom says, one thing I learned in prison is that you always roll with your crew. So Miz is like, all right, well, speaking of prison, what's it like in there? And Dom just says, snitches get stitches. And Rhea says, Dom, it's okay, mommy's here.
Yeah.
And Balor says, yeah, you could share your experience. And Miz is like, yes, we all want to know what happened.
Yeah.
So Dom says, you want to know? Imagine being locked up with the world's most dangerous people and not knowing when your next meal is going to be, and it's either push or be pushed. And Miz is like, well, what did you do? Dom says, I did a lot of thinking, and I thought if I am ever going to see mommy again, I had to do what I had to do. When life comes at you with crazy changes, grab it by the balls, like what Maurice does to you.
Man, and then Priest says, Dom, tell a story. And he was like, I was in my cell, top bunk, and sleeping. I overheard my cellmate say he wants to punch a hole in my face. So what did I do? I hopped down, slapped him awake, and asked him if he had a problem. And that was that.
Like, Priest was really selling this story like it was a huge thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then Miz says, wow, that's amazing. And he tells the audience to give him a round of applause for his perseverance. And then Dom says, I truly know now how Martha Stewart feels. And then Miz says, okay, well, Dom, my sources inform me that you were only held for a few hours in a holding cell at the county jail. He says, look at you in your $500 off-white flannel. And he says, what happened? Did you get chased by Dementors? And Priest says, say that again. And Miz is like, whoa, because they're like coming at him now. He's like, maybe I was misinformed. Miz says that, and then Priest says, Judgment Day is going to win tonight. And then the OC's music cuts him off. We're like an hour still left from the end of the show, and Tag Team Turmoil
about
starts.
50 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was. So the first match of Tag Team Turmoil is Judgment Day versus the OC. Judgment Day get the win here. So Anderson and Finn are in, Finn are in the ring. Anderson's running the ropes. And Dom trips him up so Finn can roll him up to get the 3. Next, Hurt Business. Again, Judgment Day get the win here. It'd been nice to see Hurt Business get at least one win. Didn't end up happening, however. So Cedric hits a neuralizer and then a drop kick. Finn tags himself in. Priest hits Cedric with a it says here in the notes, Shelton. I can't remember who it was. Priest hits a South of Heaven. Finn follows the coup de grace to get the win.
There's a great moment here too with Cedric and Rhea Ripley too, where he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And she's like, "Hey, dickhead." That's pretty funny. After that, so Judgment Day advances. Are you frozen again? He's frozen again. Let's see if I can fish to get him back. Hey, he's saying something. He's saying something.
I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still here.
All right, are you back? Are you back or what?
Yeah,
you good?
back.
Okay, all right. Well, I don't know. It often takes. I've done this enough times. It takes a while. So when you're talking, you're still frozen.
Okay. Yeah. So I just keep talking. I could hear you and see you. I mean, it's fine on my end.
Okay.
Most of the time.
Frozen. Okay.
So Alpha Academy's next.
Yeah, Alpha Academy's next. And this is great. We got a caterpillar. This is the first time we've seen a caterpillar in a while, right?
Yeah, it is.
I don't pay particular attention to Alpha Academy matches, but still.
No, this is long. It's been a long time since Otis has done one.
That's what I thought.
It's also been a while since Otis has taken an L.
Yeah, so he hits a Vader bomb, but Finn had grabbed Gable and put him on top of him as sort of a human shield. The problem is, it's just no matter what, it's still like two people crushing Finn Balor.
Yeah.
So Otis hits the Vader bomb on Gable and Finn. Finn sort of rolls out, and then Priest hits a super kick and a big lariat on Otis to advance. Mm-hmm. So we're down to the last. We've got Street Profits next, but Finn is at ringside and he's hurt, and a bunch of doctors are coming over to check on him. And this whole part is comical as hell because Finn is amazing, and like the doctors are touching him, and Finn's like, "What's your problem? Why are you squeezing his ribs?" And Finn says, "Oh yeah, I thought you were a real doctor. Why are you squeezing me?"
Yeah.
And so they're checking him, and they're like insistent. Judgment Day's insistent. They're like, "No, he's fine. He can go." He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." See, oh, Priest. Oh, Damien.
Yeah, he tried to get up. It's like, oh.
No, listen. I'm fine. I can go. Oh, my ribs. Oh, man. It was so fucking funny, man.
And so Adam Pearce comes out and says, well, if he can't go, you got to forfeit Judgment Day. And they're like, no, he's fine. Then Pearce has an idea and says, well, if he can't go, you got to forfeit, or Dom could take his place. The Priest is all, Finn, you're all right?
Yeah.
Come on, get up, Finn.
He goes back to Finn. You're okay, right? Come on, get up, Finn. He's like, yeah, no, I can go. Oh!
And then Dom is like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
That's the team for the final.
And so you get Dom and Priest. And dude, I had not had this spoiled for myself. And I was in my head, I was like, okay, it doesn't make sense for the Street Profits to get another shot at the Usos. It makes all the sense in the world for Judgment Day to win this, but I was on the edge of my seat towards finish here. I loved every bit of this, man, to see Dom and Finn, because Dom was getting worked the whole time.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And Finn was sitting in a chair at ringside with a bag of ice.
On his ribs, I know.
Like laughing at the Street Profits whenever they'd get handled on the outside of the ring. Oh, man, Finn was great.
Yeah, this was great. So down towards the finish, Ford gets the hot tag in. He takes out Priest and Dom with a double crossbody off the top. Drop kicks Priest out. Hits a bunch of kicks and a backdrop to Dom. Standing moonsault, gets a 2 count with that. He tags in Dawkins. They hit this great pounce German suplex combo.
Oh, man, that was
awesome.
Great.
Yeah. I love when they do that. So Dom gets the tag into Priest. Priest takes out Dawkins with a kick and a huge lariat. Gets a 2 count with that. Looks for a springboard kick, misses. Dawkins hits with a punch. Ford tags in. He ends up doing like a head scissors into Priest, or of Priest in Dawkins. Dominik gets the tag in. Priest then sends Dawkins to the timekeeper area. Ford then does the leap out of the ring over the ring post to take out Priest. He goes up top, hits Dom with a 450. He gets a 2 count because Priest pulls Ford out of the ring during the cover. So then a Priest charges Ford. Ford leapfrogs. So Priest runs to the ring steps. And Ford gets back on the apron. And Dom reaches through the ropes, grabs him, pulls him in, rolls him up with a little help from Rhea to get the win.
Yeah. Oh, man, that was awesome. It was so good. It was so good, man.
It was a lot of fun.
And then they do another shot of the Street Profits just sat in the ring. They got to break them up at some point, man. Maybe you put them both in the Rumble.
Character change or something. I don't know.
Maybe you put them both in the Rumble. And yeah, you're right. Maybe a character change. Maybe they just got to go.
I don't know if you need them to break up. They just need to do something different.
Yeah, but it's been a while since they've been bad guys, huh?
Yeah.
Like, have they been bad guys on main roster?
No.
No, just NXT, huh? Wow. Yeah. I don't know what you do. Yeah. Maggie says, I don't know why, but Dom's awkward stretching before he started competing was cracking me up. Because when Pierce was like, "Hey, you're in," Dom was like, he was like, "No, I'm not ready. And then Pierce was like, "Come on, Finn, get up."
I know, and Dom is like doing some stretching, like he was massaging his hamstrings to get loose.
Yeah. All right. Can
we answer some questions?
Yeah, we got a bunch of questions here on the Patreon, patreon.com/Steve and Larson. Right now on the Patreon, you can vote decide what retro review we do this week on Overrun. It's either going to be the first episode of Raw, or it's going to be the first episode of Nitro. Right now, it's like a runaway Nitro. So if you really want us to do the first episode of Raw, then you better head over to Patreon, $5 a month, or click join on YouTube. And you can vote there as well. Timur says, what other wacky situations would you like to see heel Dom in? The prison stuff was so good.
Yeah, I know.
It was so good. I don't know if you can top that. Like, you don't want to get too silly with it, you know?
Yeah. Because what makes it funny is that Dom takes it so seriously.
Right, exactly, yeah. So I don't know. Cameron Bartolazzo says, who sides with Uncle Howdy first, Bray or Alexa? Well, Uncle Howdy seems to be making enemies of both Bray and Alexa.
LA Knight sides with Uncle Howdy first.
Yeah. You want to go to the clubs with LA Knight? Yeah. Dave Matushek says, since we're getting the Usos versus Judgment Day for the tag team titles at a later date, do you think WWE should do more heel versus heel feuds at all? I'm down for that. Absolutely. As long as the characters have an interesting chemistry, then I say do it.
We got a super chat here on YouTube. DKC returns. Says, since Seattle made the playoffs, the Kings now the longest playoff drought of any team in the major four sports leagues. Thoughts?
I honestly thought we already had that.
Hopefully it ends this year.
I hope so. I think we're at the 6th seed. We killed Orlando yesterday, and Orlando's not a terrible team. They
got some good young talent. Yeah,
they have I think they have like around a 500 record. So yeah, I don't know. It's looking up, hopefully, but it is what it is. I like to see that we're making progress.
Exactly.
Let's see here. Yeah, we talked about that. Rich also has another one. That's not really a question. Nikyle says, what are some things Baron Corbin needs to do if he wants to be a believable wrestling god?
Win. Winning is the most important thing.
Yeah. I mean, beat Okada.
Yeah.
Beat Okada. That's a good first step.
And then he can join Jay White's faction.
Ooh, yeah.
People will beat Okada.
Yeah, people who beat Okada. Oh man. The Yellow Flash says, so several people have asked about the title split thing. We've already talked about that. So if we don't answer your question, that's going to be why. High Plains Drifter here, super chat says, do you think Judgment Day would ever add a member? If so, who is a fit? Jay White.
So I'm looking on Cage Match right now. In a one-on-one bout, Nakamura never beat Okada.
What?
They've had 2 one-on-one bouts, and Okada won both of them.
Wow. My goodness.
Oh, wait, no, this is just versus. Sorry, I thought the person who won was listed first. Who won that match? Why does it not say who won that match?
Should be in bold.
No, it doesn't really say. So maybe I'm wrong. So there's 3. They've had 3 one-on-one matches.
All right.
Why does it not say who won the match? That's weird.
Justin DW says, so wait, who do you think would make a good Judgment Day fit? They're so good as a unit right now. I think anybody else would mess up that chemistry.
I know.
Justin DW says, if you could include one storyline from a wrestling game to real life, what would it be?
Oh, whatever's going on the beginning of Revenge with the semi-truck.
That's the best answer. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The Sting and the semi-truck. What storyline for a wrestling game?
That's what it is.
Let's see here. Oh, Peter Lewins. Who would last longer in the Rumble, Prison Dom or Uncle Howdy? I mean, I feel like Uncle Howdy would. I don't even know why.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Ooh, Tama Tonga and Judgment Day.
Oh, that'd be cool. Bad Luck Fale.
There you go. Tama Tonga's beat Okada before, hadn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He could be in the beat Okada crew. You still looking at the Nakamura thing? You still trying to figure that one out? Okay. Frozen Tape says.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Nakamura has beat Okada.
Okay.
2015 G1.
The beat Okada guys.
Block match, yeah.
All right. Scoop Bonds here on YouTube says Bronson Reed could be a paid Judgment Day enforcer. Hey, by the way, we've got 537 people watching on the YouTube. Do us a huge favor. Hit that thumbs up. You're watching live. Just go over there, hit that thumbs up. It'd be very, very, very much appreciated.
Very cool. Very cool.
Let's see here. Blake Whitehouse says, since Bo Dallas and Liv Morgan are romantic partners? That's true?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
I don't know if they're still together, but they were at some point.
He says, do you see Liv joining the Wyatt faction and being tag partners with Alexa?
Probably. I don't know.
They haven't really hinted at it yet. So I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I'll say no for now, too. Mondo here says, do you think there's any chance Cody directly stating his intentions to win the championship along with the vignettes hyping his return are actually being done as misdirection for the Rumble? I feel like they're already running the risk of making it too obvious, which is just asking for the crowd to reject it.
No, it's not. Crowd loves Cody. They want to see this shit happen.
They want to see it happen, yes.
It's one thing if you had direct evidence that the crowd didn't love the person, like when Batista won. I don't think a lot of people at the time were like, oh man, I really want to see Batista come back and win this. Everybody was so hyper-focused on Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
And or Daniel Bryan. And if Daniel Bryan had won and they had made it obvious from the start, everybody would have been so over the moon happy about that.
Yeah. Yep. Alex Foster asks, if Roman yelled at one of us, would you stand up for your co-host? So if Roman was yelling at me, would you say, hey, Roman, chill?
Yeah, I don't see any situation in which I wouldn't. I'm like a grown man. You know? I'm in my mid-40s. I'm a good decade over Roman Reigns. Yeah. You know, it's like, so you got to stand up. You got to stand up.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, man, you need to chill out. I'm talking to my friend like that. And then Superman punch. And I'm like, well, you know, sometimes you got to take it.
Yeah, that's
take
true.
one for the team. So, yeah, I think I would.
Yeah, I'd like to think I would, too. This is a good question from Dan Daniels. If Disney buys WWE, what new rides and attractions are added to Disney parks? Besides the obvious Undertaker's last ride.
Space Mountain.
Oh, gosh.
You'd have the Island of Relevancy, you know.
Yeah, if they weren't already making, because they're doing, so they had Tom Sawyer's Island at Disneyland. I think they're making that an Avengers thing now, memory serves.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, but I thought that's what they were doing. They're doing something with it.
All right.
But yeah, they could have made that the Island of Relevancy.
Oh, how about the Banger Brothers bus?
I'm 99.9% sure Disney would not do that.
They would not. Let's see here.
Luis Ariza says, going to AEW tomorrow. If any friendos want to meet up, let's go. Any advice on concessions or merch there? Maybe going early, etc. It's at the Forum. The Enforcer went to the last show at the Forum. I haven't been to the Forum in a long time. I think they've renovated it a bit. The bathroom situation's weird.
Oh,
you had
really?
to go downstairs. You had to go downstairs.
Oh, no.
Like the bathrooms are in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I remember.
Lord Ziffer, what finisher has never seemed impactful to you guys? Oh, wow. He says, for as protected as it is, I've never bought the End of Days as a finisher. Really? It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Leg drop. Hogan's leg drop.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah, I know.
It's just a leg drop.
Yeah. Yeah, leg drops it.
Mild impact across the chest with an old man's leathery leg.
I know. Yep, that's it.
Doesn't really seem that bad.
That's all it took, I know. I mean, I even hear Hogan talk about it. He's like, yeah, I should have used a leg drop as my finish. My whole thing, I had the world's largest arms. I should have used a sleeper.
Yeah,
he said.
That makes a lot more sense. Yeah. Yeah, White Brownie has one. People's elbow. It's just an elbow.
Yeah, I know.
I know. Yeah. Maggie says it's actually the stank that knocks out the opponent. Does he beef on the way down?
Oh, that would make some sense then.
I had some chili, brother. Yeah. A-Town down. That's just such an awkward move.
It is. Like as a signature, maybe it's fine, but as a finisher,
Yeah. Notorious LFG here with the sub says, happy January, friendos. Adrenaline in his soul. Entrant 28 will be Cody Rhodes. Too many syllables there. Anyways, that's going to do it
28
for us
Cody
today.
Rhodes.
Entrant 28 Cody Rhodes. Wins the Rumble, takes on Rockamania.
Adam Bull, baby, asks, what's the most devastating finisher?
It should be the last ride. Last ride powerbomb. Holy
Apparently that
shit.
move does suck.
Yeah, it looks like it. Some are just like no-brainers. It's like, what the fuck? Of course this sucks.
I always feel like the package pile driver looks like it should really fuck you up.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
At least a normal pile driver, you got your hands free. You can brace yourself a little bit. Package pile driver, no bracing.
You're just compressed into this ball of sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Tomorrow, we're going to be reviewing New Year's Evil. We'll have some more news for you. Hopefully, there'll be an update on this Jay White stuff so we can put it in the thumbnail.
Yes.
Thanks for watching. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Now would be a good time to run it.